my name is Andres Jimenez. I'm a marine biologist, and I welcome you to Cuba.
Coming to Cuba, the opportunity of this trip that came up actually was sitting down and talking to Ann and Wayne Hassan. And Wayne just happened to say, hey, I'm going to Cuba, what would you think? And I'm going, Cuba has been like the forbidden fruit. You can hear about it, but you can't go there. And when the opportunity came up, I definitely jumped on it and said, Wayne, please let me go, sign me up. And I was hooked. When I found out about this trip, that it was put on by Oceans for Youth, I definitely read up on them and wanted to learn more about them and thought this is a great group to travel with. How did we get here? Yes. Well, me personally, I flew all the way from Seattle to Miami, met up with the group in Miami, and then we all got to board Cayman Air to Grand Cayman. From Grand Cayman, Wayne was there ready to meet us and said, go get your visa, come back and get in line, and let's get on the plane, and we're going to Cuba. So thanks to Cayman Air and some great directions and a good itinerary, we ended up here all together in Havana. Well, as far as our tours and our guides, I feel it was very well laid out. I was very impressed that we had a meet and greet. Our bus was there, air conditioned, they had water, they were ready for us. I feel what they sent us to or showed us as far as the different sites of Cuba and walking around and getting the pictures that we wanted, but to see the old Cuba, the new Cuba, the structure. The day we went to the aquarium, it was very well laid out. I was actually very well impressed with how our tours were run. I think that our 2 days and 2 nights we had in Havana around the streets and seeing their kind of like what I would call what we have in the U.S. block parties that they had in the evenings that we went. They're very friendly. The children were lovely. They loved to sing and dance. I think the people were all excited about seeing Americans come and share their thoughts about how we are looking at bringing more people to Cuba. And that there was always something to do. They had the restaurants picked out for us. We just walked in and they were ready for us. They were expecting a group and they prepared the food. Everything was there that we needed. So I would highly recommend our tour guides. They did an outstanding job keeping us all together. I mean, it's hard when you have a group of almost 20 people and keeping tabs on them and make sure everybody gets on the bus on time and make sure everybody, sees everything they want to see, but yet no one loses sight and they all stuck together. And they did a good job keeping count. You get to know the group and you have a common bond. You're divers. You love to travel and you love scuba diving. So what more could you not have in common and get along together? And the diving is more than I expected. I mean, Caribbean diving and South Pacific diving are so different. So I wasn't quite sure what I was going to expect. I didn't know if I'd have the abundance of fish, the different corals. But when I jumped into that water, I have to say 88 degrees. I was overwhelmed though of the warmth, but yet the color and the abundance of the fish, the seagrass, the different types of corals and fans, purple fans. And then came the sharks, lots and lots of sharks. And I think that's right then you fall in love. You just don't want to get out of the water. You're in the water to the point where, when can I get back in? And with the opportunity that we get, diving, a little break, diving, another break, maybe some lunch, then we'll go dive again. And you get spoiled. You definitely get spoiled, and you have no problem jumping into that beautiful blue ocean. It's amazing. With our dive guides and the dive masters, the captains of the boat, they have such a great opportunity to know these waters. So you feel very secure once you jump off that boat to get into that water and start diving with literally over 20 plus sharks or more in the water, that not only are they there when you jump in, but when you try and get out of the water, they're circling around your boat when you're getting out of the water too. Coming up to the water and all these sharks, it's like you're having an escort, your own private escort of sharks that want to take you to the deep and show you around their territory. But yet as they see you start shallowing 40 to 30 to 20 feet, they're still there. Some of them I felt are like little puppy dogs. They're just following us up, and then we have our private escort of these beautiful reef sharks coming up to the boat, and they're there circling until they know you're in the boat, and it's like, okay, you're safe now. You've done your dive with us. We're done with you. We'll see you tomorrow. So I think it's an amazing, no Caribbean diving or even South Pacific have I ever had a dive like we've been diving here this week in the Garden of the Queens with these beautiful sharks. About the waters that we're in, the Garden of the Queens, I think what's nice is also going back and learning a little history about it, is that luckily, because Fidel Castro happened to be an avid scuba diver, he made it so the Garden of the Queens was almost his private backyard. He could come and dive whenever he wanted, and nobody else could come unless they were invited. So for us to have this invite now and to be opened up to experience what Fidel Castro was experiencing probably 40 years ago or more, it's an opportunity for us and an experience that I don't think a lot of people will ever get, that we've had this opportunity. So we've been very lucky and fortunate because the Garden of the Queens is like a marine reserve. It's so pristine and there's so much life. Well, there's an experience in Cuba I never thought I'd ever do in my life. And with 38 years of diving, this is an experience here that I never would have thought of or dreamt of. And here we are in about 3 feet of water, seagrass below, and a beautiful little crocodile. And we actually got up close and personal to this crocodile. It was pretty fun because you don't expect to see that. And now I know. I've always wondered, well, what is a saltwater crocodile? Where do they live? And aren't they, just ready to jump on people? Well, they're actually not. They're pretty calm, but you still keep your distance. You don't go up and like touch them. But the guy knows that once he gets his photo op done with us, then he gets his chicken and off he takes off. So that was an experience I never would have thought of. Coming to Cuba not only opened your eyes, but it was more over the top than I expected. I've had so many people ask about it, and I said, please let me go and experience myself before I can really sell it. I want the knowledge. I want to know how to talk about it. I want the experience to let people understand that Cuba is an amazing place. I would highly recommend it. I think that everybody should once in a lifetime try something different, and Cuba is the place to try. I definitely will be coming back. I'll be bringing a group. I will definitely be sending more people here, with or without me. But with Oceans for Youth Foundation, Aggressor Dancer Fleet, the combination is so put together very, very well that there's just no place for errors. It's all taken care of from the time you get off that airplane. They're there to take care of you. As far as your time in Havana, your time on the road, even in the bus, was not bad. We had a couple stops, which was enjoyable. And then here we are on a boat floating in the middle of the Garden of the Queens, and the beautiful diving that we get. I highly recommend Cuba to everybody.